Okay, how's it going, everybody? So we're going to read some Marx today. Came out in 1856. This is the speech at anniversary of the People's Paper, 1814, 1856. It was delivered in London. It's a speech, I suppose. I suppose it's what it says right here. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. This is in notes. Let's read the background on this first. They have an end note here, and it's got some the background on it. On April 14th, 1856, Marx was invited as an official representative of the revolutionary refugees in London to a banquet commemorating the 4th anniversary of the Chartist People's Paper. He used the occasion to demonstrate the international solidarity that united the proletarian revolutionaries, among whom he had established himself as the outstanding leader with the revolutionary wing of the Chartist movement, and show that in contrast to the French and German petty bourgeois Democrats who were merely flirting with the Chartist leaders, the German communists were true allies of the Chartists, sharing with them the aim of achieving the rule of the working class in all countries. For more on this, see Marx's letters to Engels of April 16, 1856. His address, he was the first speaker. Marx concentrated on the historic role of the proletariat. The banquet was also addressed by another representative of the German communists, Wilhelm Pieper. The other speakers were mostly Chartists: James Finland, Ernest Jones, and others. Marx did not intend to publish his speech. It was, however, included in the newspaper report under the heading 4th Anniversary Banquet of the People's Paper. The following text preceded the speech. On Monday last at the Bell Hotel, Strand, Ernest Jones entertained the compositors of the People's Paper and the other gentlemen connected with its office at a supper, which was joined by a large number of the leading Democrats of England, France, and Germany, now in London. The entertainment was of the choicest description and reflected the greatest credit on the enterprising proprietor of the hotel, Mr. Hunter, the choicest viands and condiments of the season being supplied in profusion. The tables were well filled with a numerous company of both sexes, Ernest Jones occupying the chair and Mr. Falley, manager of the People's Paper office, the vice chair. The banquet commenced at 7, and at 9 o'clock the cloth was cleared, when a series of sentiments was given from the chair. The chairman then proposed the toast, "The Proletarians of Europe," which was responded to by Dr. Marx as follows. Okay, so here's the speech that he gives. The so-called revolutions of 1848 were but poor incidents, the small fractures and fissures in the dry crust of European society. However, they denounced the abyss beneath the apparently solid surface. They betrayed the oceans of liquid matter, only needing expansion to rend into the fragments continents of hard rock. Noisily and confusedly, they proclaimed the emancipation of the proletarian, i.e., the secret of the 19th century and the revolution of that century. That social revolution, it is true, was no novelty, invented in 1848. Steam, electricity, and the self-acting mule were revolutionists of a rather more dangerous character than even citizens, Barbès, Raspail, and Blanqui. But although the atmosphere in which we live weighs upon every one with a 20,000-pound force, do you feel it? No more than European society before 1848 felt the revolutionary atmosphere enveloping and pressing it from all sides. There is one great fact, characteristic of this our 19th century, a fact which no party dares deny. On the one hand, there have started into life industrial and scientific forces, which no epoch of the former human history had ever suspected. On the other hand, there exist symptoms of decay, far surpassing the horrors recorded of the latter times of the Roman Empire. In our days, everything seems pregnant with its contrary. Machinery, gifted with the wonderful power of shortening and fructifying human labor. We behold starving and overworking it. The newfangled sources of wealth, by some strange weird spell, are turned into sources of want. The victories of art seem bought by the loss of character. At the same pace that mankind masters nature, man seems to become enslaved to other men or to his own infamy. Even the pure light of science seems unable to shine but on the dark background of ignorance. All our invention and progress seem to result in endowing material forces with intellectual life and stultifying human life into a material force. This antagonism between modern industry and science on the one hand, modern misery and dissolution on the other hand. This antagonism between the productive powers and the social relations of our epoch is a fact, palpable, overwhelming, and not to be controverted. Some parties may wail over it. Others may wish to get rid of modern arts in order to get rid of modern conflicts, or they may imagine that so signal a progress in industry wants to be completed by a signal a regress in politics. On our part, we do not mistake the shape of the shrewd spirit that continues to mark all these contradictions. We know that to work, well, the newfangled forces of society, they only want to be mastered by newfangled men. And such are the working men. They are much the invention of modern time as machinery itself. And the signs that bewilder the middle class, the aristocracy, and the poor prophets of regression. We do recognize our brave friend, Robin Goodfellow, the old mole that can work in the earth so fast, that worthy pioneer, the revolution. The English working men are the firstborn sons of modern industry. They will then, certainly, not be the last in aiding the social revolution produced by that industry. A revolution, which means the emancipation of their own class all over the world, which is as universal as capital rule and wages slavery. I know the heroic struggles the English working class have gone through since the middle of the last century, struggles less glorious, because they are shrouded in obscurity and burked by the middle class historian. To revenge the misdeeds of the ruling class, there existed in the Middle Ages in Germany a secret tribunal called the Wimgericht. If a red cross was seen marked on a house, people knew that its owner was doomed by the Vim. All the houses of Europe are now marked with the mysterious red cross. History is the judge, its executioner, the proletarian. Okay, yeah. So that is the speech at anniversary of the People's Paper, delivered in London in 1856. Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Marx's Saw. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, and Medium. And y'all have a great day. Do that go.